In the technologically advanced world that we live in today, transportation is growing exponentially. The airline industry is one of the fastest growing industries at the moment. Between 2009 and 2017, it has grown by 5.9% in revenue. But there are still a lot of people out there that are very afraid to fly or refuse to fly. They would much rather drive to their destination than fly, even though flying is much quicker, and as I'm going to get to here later, flying is also much safer. So today, I'm going to touch on 3 stereotypes that are made about flying, and I'm going to sort of debunk them to show you that flying is actually much, much safer and more practical than driving. Hopefully after today, I will relieve some of your fears about flying if you are one of those people, and I will also show you why flying is very safe. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to touch on is that you're afraid about your engine failing and that the plane is going to fall out of the sky. Well, physics will tell you that that is definitely not how that works. When an airplane engines fail, a plane will actually perfectly glide down safely rather than falling straight out of the sky. According to flightdeckfriend.com, as long as air still flows over the wings of the aircraft, it will continue to fly. The trade-off here is that yes, your plane is going to lose altitude. Because the engines aren't working anymore, the plane is not being pushed forward by the thrust of the large jet engines. So the trade-off is you lose altitude, so that way you travel faster to get more air flowing over the wings, and that actually gives you more horizontal distance, excuse me. Pilots also have specific glide speeds for each aircraft to where if you have this certain airspeed, you will cover the most distance and get the most out of it. So if your plane is at 35,000 feet and your engines fail, your airplane will most likely be able to safely glide down to an airport and land safely. So the next reason that I'd like to touch on is people that are afraid of flying because they're afraid of flying into another airplane, or they're afraid of colliding or with another airplane or object or bird or whatever it may be. While I can't say that this doesn't happen, it has happened. It is very, very, extremely, extremely rare. Much more rare than a car accident. You probably see a car accident at least once a week. According to BEA.aero, there is only 1.5 mid-air collisions on average per year. Now, still, that to some people that may still sound like a lot, but considering that at some points during the year there are over 200,000 airplanes, commercial airplanes, flying around the world in some of the busiest seasons, that number is shockingly low. Your pilots and air traffic controllers are always working hard to make sure that all aircraft are a safe distance away from each other. The difference between driving and flying is that driving is more two-dimensional. Driving, you're on the ground and you stay on the ground. Flying, you can separate aircraft not just by distance away from each other, but also by altitudes. Air traffic controllers have certain planes at certain altitudes flying this way, while others will be higher, maybe a few thousand feet higher, flying this way. Airplanes are very, very rarely going to mid-air collide. Another reason I'd like to touch on that people don't like flying is simply because of turbulence. Turbulence is something, before we dive into why, we must first understand why turbulence happens in the first place, or what turbulence is. According to the National Weather Service, turbulence is an irregular motion of air resulting in bumps in the air and disruption of the smooth airflow over the airplane's wing. Turbulence is caused by thunderstorms, convective activity, or clear air turbulence, which is something that is associated with the jet stream. The jet stream is a very high altitude flow of air that moves very fast and can actually shave a few hours off of your flight time. While turbulence may be scary and uncomfortable at times, it is something that is completely normal. Your pilots have many hours in the airplane, and know exactly how to control the airplane through rough turbulence. So next time your flight is a little bumpy, just know that it is something completely normal, and the best thing you can do in that situation is remain seated so you're safely secured if something does get really bumpy, and just remain calm and just know that it'll probably be over shortly. So I hope that these little things debunk sort of your fear of flying and make you a little more comfortable and a little more relaxed about flying. I challenge you that on the next time you take a trip to, instead of driving to your destination, I challenge you to buy that plane ticket and fly. I promise it will take much quicker time and it'll be much safer. Thank you.